So let me tell you about yeah. So let me tell you about it'll make you feel good, better than your birthday. Get ahead, make you want it in the worst way. I mean, it feel good.
How y'all doing? Most importantly, who got the album? So that wasn't everybody. So I need everybody to take out their phone, and if you haven't bought the album, get the album right now. I'll have hard copies outside after, but if you don't got the album right now, I need y'all to do me a favor and get the album right now. The love from this album has been incredible, man. It's unreal. I've got love before with everything I released, but this is unmatched. And y'all being here is just it's kind of the cherry on top of that. So round of applause for yourselves. Yeah, man. So I'm not even supposed to be doing the talking right now, so I'm going to hand this over and, you know.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing tonight? So I am your moderator tonight. I'll be asking all the lovely questions, getting the inside scoop about We Should Talk. My name is Tanisha, and I am representing AFROVOCATIVE, which is my blog. It's a cultural platform for the culture by the culture. So make sure you go follow that on Instagram and Facebook. That's Afro, A-F-R-O, Vocative, V-O-C-A-T-I-V-E. So y'all give Kenyon a round of applause. People that I know, he's so talented. Of course, many of you guys know him as the singer. I met him as Kenyon Dixon, the dancer. So it's just been incredible to see his journey. So first of all, I just want to talk about the fact that this is your 6th project. Your 6th project. So we started off with It Ain't Easy. Then we went to Hollywood and Highland. Then we went to Hollywood Brown, 24, Superfly, and now We Should Talk. So how does that feel for you?
That's amazing, man. You know, when you're working on this stuff, you get so exhausted and you just expel so much energy and creativity that you can't even imagine doing all this over again. So by the time I'm done with a record, I don't know when I could possibly even start on working on another record because it's like I'm tired. I don't even want to hear myself sing no more. Or take a break from music. Let me go find something else to do. So to be 6 records in, that's crazy. All independent. That's crazy. Sitting at home working on this music, man, just to give everybody something to listen to. And so that's rewarding enough for me. Just that feeling. I'm getting it done, and people are listening. That feels good.
So speaking of your creative process, what do you feel like separates you from kind of like the R&B albums out today from the like the Bryson Tillers and those folks?
Gotcha. Love to them. They make some great music. First of all, myself, most importantly, I'm involved in every aspect of my music creatively. I think as a creative, that's something that's very, very important. As an artist, you get a lot of people who are artists, but they don't have any creative control in their stuff. So I'm involved in the production. If I'm not producing it myself, I write all of my records. I'm recording all of my records, and so it's up to me. And then I pass it off, and kind of see where we can go from there. But for me, it's just a vibe. When the music is true to you, when you progress, your music is gonna progress. I'm creating it, so you guys are getting what's actually going on with me, and so. Again, it's great. It's great. All of those other artists. When you're at a label, there's just so much control and so many hands involved in your stuff, and you gotta do this when they say do this, make this record when they say make this record. I'm on my own time. I make what I want to make, and I think that's why people continue to enjoy the music, and that's why it's so consistent. There is no going from writer to writer, producer to producer. I am the writer. I am the producer. If I'm not producing it, I'm involved in it. It's my music. I guess that's what separates me.
Amazing. Since you are basically like solo dolo, you write, you produce, you are an amazing singer. How do you feel like that kind of puts some like pressure on you and separates you stylistically for your music?
I come from a very musical background, like entertainment based. I dance like technically, like before I even, my mom, my dad, all my siblings, they all sing, but me growing up dancing and doing more technical stuff like that, I've noticed, which is, it sounds crazy, but even my phrasing and the way I produce everything rhythmically, I draw from what I know from a completely different world, from like again, from dancing, those rhythm stuff I learned growing up, dancing in jazz and blues and everything other than R&B, and I'm doing R&B. And so it's like bringing all of these worlds, everything I've been a part of, into this one sound. And so it's challenging because you have to find a way to, it's especially challenging when you're writing and working with other artists because you have an idea of a formula that works commercially, but you may not respect it for your own stuff. But it's like you're asking to take your stuff and for it to be made lucrative or for it to, translate. And so you have to find that medium between this is what I want to do, this is what I know people like. I got to find a way to do what people like, but still do what I want to do. So it's like it's math. It really is. And I felt math like twice. So just imagine what I'm going through trying to create this music.
So speaking of math and formulas, how do you feel like We Should Talk is completely different than Superfly or 24 as far as the vibe and what you've done structuring the songs?
I think it's a lot different because I'm a lot different. Like I was saying before, I've made a lot of progress. I respect the artists that could just get in there and like machines create. I do that on the writing, and when we're in with these artists, we got to go in and be creative on cue. With my music, I don't have to do that. If I don't have anything to talk about, I'm not going to record anything. And so once I feel like I'm full of something, and I've kind of just recouped creatively, that's kind of when I get back in that mode to be able to create music. And so We Should Talk. Any project, whatever project is the newest, is always going to be times 10 of everything else, because I'm taking everything I've worked on, what I like about it, and finding a way to expand it and make it even greater than I felt it was when I was creating it. And so this project for me, in every aspect of it, I learned. I'm just a student of life. I try to learn everything I can, and so I put that in my music. I know more about production. I know more about my own voice as a singer. Any vocalist in here can probably attest to this. You never stop learning your voice. There's stuff you on stage. There's stuff you could do 1,000,000 times before you stepped on stage, and you got to figure out why you can't do it when you get on there. So like, there's stuff. I'm just into learning, and so because I'm into that, when you're learning, I'm educating myself about my craft. I have no choice but to get better. So everything I do should be better. If not, something's wrong.
That's amazing. It's hard for artists nowadays because they don't have the total package, and I definitely think that you have the total package, knowing that you have a voice, of course, because everybody don't have the range, and just the fact that you understand music technically, you have a great ear, so I think that's amazing. So why did you name this album We Should Talk? What was kind of that concept behind this album?
I knew this was coming. So you would have thought I could have prepared for this. We Should Talk, man. First of all, let me go to where we started off with this album. This album was originally called Good Vibes Only, which is a wave I had been on for a while, and it became so popular that I felt like if I kept that name, it was going to be a part of this trend. And when the trends died down, you're stuck with probably something you don't even like anymore. And so We Should Talk, even me listening to the album, it's a work about dialogue, especially relationally, whether it's the more intimate parts of a relationship, whether it's infidelity, the love part, finding out that you may feel like love failed you at some point. It's just so many conversations. So it's like we should talk. Let's talk. It's a conversation between me and a significant other in theory. It's a conversation between me and you guys, my listeners, just about my growth sonically, and just, you guys have something to compare that to. I have other records that you guys have heard, and so I feel like it's been a while since I put out the last one, so it's like, let's talk. My talking to y'all might be singing, and y'all talking to me might be listening and giving me a little feedback, and so it's just a record about conversing. It sparks conversation, period. It inspires that, and I think that's what you hear. Every record, everything is centered around just some type of interaction.
I have to agree on that because as I was listening to the album before it dropped, I was just thinking this feels like a relationship on wax. You're talking about being frustrated, which when you go through relationships, whether it's intimate or just friends, you have your frustrations. So speaking
y'all see she gave y'all a bar. She said, she listened to the album before it dropped.
of conversations, as you were writing this project, did you have a specific way that you wanted to execute it? Like, what was the first song that you wrote, and did you kind of formulate all the songs around that?
Whoa. I'm a viber. Like, this record was finished so many times, and I would wake up in the middle of the night, and go to my setup and start recording something else, because then I would start feeling like I'm missing a record like this. So I feel like I should have something like this. And so what record did I do first on this album? I want to say Forgiveness was the first record I recorded for this album, and it was something I pretty much freestyled that record. That was about a year ago. Some producers I work with who produced they produced the record, but they produced All the Way that you guys heard. They produced the title track on Higher Ground, Guilty Pleasures. The second half of that, Isaac actually produced the first half of Guilty Pleasures. And so that record, I remember sometimes as writers, and me and Isaac go through this a lot, this is one of my writing partners, we're always like, we get creative and we don't have anything to create to. And so we start going through old folders of stuff like, man, what do I got? I really want to get some ideas out. And I came across that track, and I recorded it. I just started, literally, I went for it, and I hit them like, because the track was like maybe like 2-3 years old. I'm like, yo, please tell me how to place this record, or it's still available, or, you know, and they were like, yeah. I'm like, cool, don't do nothing with it. And so for a whole year, they let me sit with that track, and they didn't do anything with it. And that kind of, it helped for sure shape the vibe of the project. But you're never done until it's out. Like, if pre-order wasn't available and I just decided to wake up and upload it, there probably would have been 5 more songs on this record that aren't on there right now. So, yeah.
Awesome. So speaking of like your production and like writing and team, do you have a set team? Like, you have people that you're always kind of writing with, or do you kind of just reach out, because you have so many talented friends that are here, do you just reach out to them like, hey, look, I got this idea, I want to write this, you know, or do they reach out to you?
Gotcha. I write 100% of myself, everything I've ever put out. If you hear a feature on there, they probably wrote their part, or we collab together, but nobody has ever written anything for me. Anytime I'm working with other writers, like I said, Ice is one of my writing partners. Me and Alex collab a lot together on our stuff as artists. We do a little collaborating, and so as far as my own stuff, it's just me, man. I wake up and I hear ideas and I go, and I started producing because I got tired of waiting on producers. You get a lot of, again, that's something a lot of people can attest to. And it's not just with music, but when you're waiting and somebody's like, yo, I want to help you with this, or let's get this done, and you're like, all right, cool. I'm very impatient when I'm focused or I have a goal. And so the way I see it is, the goal is going to get achieved. Whether you help me or you don't, we're going to get to it. And so I'm sitting here with a computer with all this stuff that you're using, that I'm waiting for you to use on yours to send over to me. I'm just going to figure it out. And that's what happened. I got tired of waiting, and I had so many ideas that I wanted to get out, and that could really put just a damper on your creativity when you gotta wait. You know, when you're vibey like that, creatives, we're very moody. So if I don't get it out when I want to get it out, it just may be over altogether. So, you know, no more waiting on that.
Okay, so since you don't wait for people to kind of reach out to you before we actually get into the album, how long does it take you to write a song? Because, you know, there's some producers or songwriters, they're like, oh, it only takes me 30 minutes, or, you know.
Let me go back for a second about not waiting on anybody. Let me say I do get a lot of people that, you know, once they hear stuff, it's like, y'all want to sing you some stuff. The issue with that is that you're sending me, what you want to send me is based off of what you heard. I'm already somewhere else sonically. So I'll say that. I do get a lot of people that reach out, you know, that are willing to help. But if I'm not in the studio with you, what you send me, I'm probably on a completely different wave by then, because you're creating based on what I already put out. But I can write and record a record in 20, 30 minutes. But Superfly, the record before this I put out, the title track, Superfly, I didn't finish that record for a year. I started on it a year before, had no idea what I was even creating. You get these ideas? Again, I'm just using y'all for example a lot, but anybody who creates, sometimes you start stuff and you have this idea and you start trying to execute it and it don't sound anything like what you thought it was gonna sound like. So in the middle of me creating, I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, what am I even doing? And so I left it alone. And then I caught that vibe again later on in the year, and I'm like, all right, I think I kind of know what this could be. And I became a little more knowledgeable of the programs I was using and everything like that. I knew how to find the sounds I wanted. And, but yeah, that took a year. Sometimes I could write and record a record in 15, like I said, 15, 20, 30 minutes. From there to a year.
All right, so we're gonna listen to the album, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the first song, which is Frustrated. But first, tell us a little bit about this song and like when you were writing it, the thought process that you were having and the kind of the mindset that you were in.
Frustrated for me, it was just a vibe, man. That was the very, very last record I finished on this project. I had the project and the folder zipped up, like these are all the songs, and like I was saying, I'll wake up and I'll be like, yo, I hear this idea. And I had this idea for this interlude. I played the keys. I couldn't find the sounds I wanted. I sent what I played over to my boy Marcus Hodge. He replayed it for me, gave me all the right sounds. But I cut the record, and it was just a feeling for me. It kind of set the tone of the project. Like, there's no way that couldn't be there, and there's no way it couldn't be first. I felt like it kind of created the atmosphere. I put you in a space to at least have an idea of what you're about to get ready to listen to. And so it's it's a very vulnerable record. I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to. I had one of my listeners tell me a while ago, they appreciate my approach to being vulnerable. And so for some reason that kind of stuck with me. And so now when I do records, I just try to keep that in mind to make sure that it's something I feel like everybody can relate to. And Frustrated, especially for guys, I think it's like, it's what we think all the time. And it's just like, how can we say this? And as many times as I tried to think of different lyrics, it was as simple as that. I always had Frustrated, and I'm like, you try to dress it up and let me change this lyric to this. And it was like, nah, this is how you feel. That's the record, So that's Frustrated that you guys are about to hear right now.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the second song, which is Forgiveness, and you actually spoke a lot about that, so let's just go ahead and get straight into it.
Forgiveness, that record, that's a very special record to me. That record is about just kind of the heart of a man who may not get it right all of the time, but it's just saying, just be there. I may mess up sometimes, or, I may get crazy, but right now it's my turn. You're gonna need what I'm asking for you eventually. That's gonna need to be reciprocated. So it's best that we establish this understanding. I need you, you need me. So don't always ask questions. Just be there. Sometimes that's just what we need. And so that's what that record is about.
I appreciate you, brother.
And you might need a word. This is who you go to. All words in the world. So the next record is Body's Calling. Now, this is that grown and sexy record. You see, yes. This is that grown and sexy record. This is actually my favorite song besides Treasure. So with this record, why did you want to sample and, give us that little info?
Body's Calling is Mr. Sexy Time. And so with that record, my sister is actually who got me addicted to that record because she loves that record. Body's Calling, any chance she would probably play it. And so somehow I ended up liking that record. Basically, when I started creating that record, I was just trying to find a cool way. We get a lot of talk about R&B is dead and all that stuff. And so it puts me in this mindset, or at least it kind of positions me to believe that we like the old R&B. There's stuff about those records that we feel like are missing. Me feeling like I can, create pretty good records, I thought, okay, well, I think I got a formula. I'm going to take the records that I know you guys like, and give you my twist on top of it. And so The fills on that record, I sampled Body's Calling. I produced that record. I sampled Body's Calling by R. Kelly, co-produced by my brother, Bam Alexander, man. And yeah, a hand for him, amazing producer. And as I was creating, I just got this genuine So Anxious vibe. And so somehow I just kind of combined the two of those, and I was like, yo, when this is done, this gonna kill him. And so that's what that record is. This Body's Calling, man. And it took a lot for me, being a church kid, doing R&B. You know, you gotta find where you get comfortable. It get real tricky. And so you gotta find where you're comfortable. And it's like, this is life. I have a whole daughter. It's no secret that this is what people are doing. You know? And so, this is that record, man.
So, Love and Happiness is a jam, but this is another record that you pretty much sampled and made your own. Give us the inside scoop on the thought process of that.
Love and Happiness. Same idea of just taking records that I felt like were classics and kind of putting my twist on them. I'm not really into recreating records. I just want to give it just felt good, man. That record almost didn't make the album for a while. Early on, I almost just, like maybe when I was like 2, 3, 4 songs in, I almost just got rid of that record altogether because I felt like it was too close to like the trap lane of trying to do stuff. I'm a singer, I'm not a rapper, so I'm not really into doing the whole rap singing thing. And so, as a creative, you find a way to make it yours. And so that's kind of what I did with that record. And y'all like that record? Love and Happiness? Yeah, we about to play it. So y'all haven't heard it. Yeah.
So, the next track I absolutely love because I absolutely adore Miss Isley Rose. Why did you decide to name this Isley's Interlude?
You know, when you're working, again, I'm talking to creatives again. If anybody works in like programs, production programs, you know, you just name stuff sometimes before you start it. And so when I first started on this record, that's what I named it. And so once I started creating it, it was a vibe. It's more of a vibe thing for me. But the essence of the record and what it kind of talks about is saying, you know, there's a lot of times where we tried to go against what we felt or what we knew, and in the end, I knew it would be you. And so it's just it's Isley, my daughter's interlude, Alex Isley's interlude. So it's just kind of a combination of that. It's a vibe for me. We're here, and it's them still. So it's that record.
Now, the one thing that I love about this track is it goes right into the next song, which is No Ordinary Love and Enough. And there on that track, you're talking a lot about kind of just giving your everything. How has being a father changed the way that you create or the way that you kind of look out on life?
I think the most interesting part about being a father and a creative is that it completely dictates your work ethic, and when you can work. Children have no respect of time, and so if I want to work on something, if I put her to sleep and she decides 10 minutes later that she wants to wake up, I'm done. And so you have to learn how to work on cue, kind of, which is something that doesn't really work creatively. You know, we work when we feel like working or we feel like we have something to get out. And so there's a lot of stuff. I have to just work very intentionally and strategically because my time is very limited. And so that's been the biggest lesson with this. It's inspired me and it's pushed my creativity to a completely different level because I'm not free to create when I want to anymore. I got to do it around her schedule. She's the boss, so yeah.
All right, so we're about to get into No Ordinary Love, but before we play that, why did you name that? Why did you name this title No Ordinary Love?
So lyrically, I'm singing a Sade record that you guys all know, No Ordinary Love, over a beat I reproduced of a song of hers called Sweetest Taboo, that I'm sure you guys know as well. And so this kind of became like an ode to Sade, but connected to, it was originally connected to Isley's Interlude. That was one whole song. And so, again, the previous record talking about, you know, though we may try to fight against what we know is the truth, you kind of know where you're going to end up. And so that, for that reason, this is No Ordinary Love. And so on Sade's end, that record is actually about an addiction. One of her band members, he had an addiction to drugs. They were both addicted at the same time. She got out of that addiction and kept trying to save him. Like, you know, there's a whole different world over here, and he couldn't get away from it. And so that was her kind of telling him, like, I keep trying, I keep, you know, doing everything I can, and I'm getting nothing. Like, I can only try to help you for so long. And so for me, what No Ordinary Love ended up being is kind of the complications of being in love and the struggle of, I know this is where I should be, but this is getting difficult. What do I do? Because this isn't an ordinary love, you know, because sometimes it either is or it isn't. And this isn't one of those type of situations. And so I think the song kind of tells a story, and the vibe, the music tells a story even more than the song, like the feeling of it. So.
All right, here we go. So now we're about to get into this little dance joint, little jig. Tell me, featuring Alex Isley, whatever. So the one thing that you've always been really great about is being consistent in the way that you guys collaborate with each other. You guys produce amazing records together, like When I Get Married, About Him Is Gonna Be My Song. You know, but I love, like, what made you want to have Alex on this song?
Trust the Plus. I know, I just know her vibe, and so you get a lot of people that get features just for the look of it. I don't work like that. People I collaborate with is because I feel them on the record, and so I mean, you know, I know her inside out, and so I know what, you know, what we sound good doing together. I know what records are her vibe. I know. So it was just one of those records. When I created the record, I produced this record. I produced the last record too, and so when I created the record, I could hear her on it, and I just felt like it's something we could vibe to. Because as far as the records we've collaborated on, they have very consistent vibes. Like if you were to put all of the records we collaborated on together, it could make an album. Like there's something consistent sonically there. And so this is always a feeling I get when I feel like somebody is, you know, the right one for a record. And so that was that.
So this is another record that was has a sample that you kind of recreated in your own way. Why did you choose this song? Because I mean, the original is dope, and what you did with it is incredible. And why did you choose to go with this kind of like, I don't want to say dance hall vibe, but it gives you that, you know, with the beat and everything.
I got the vibes for sure. And so, ironically, when I created this record, that sound seemed to be a trend. You had Drake out with One Dance, Rihanna with Work, Party Next Door, Drake with, what's the song? It's About Us? What's the name of the song? About us right now, go where you go. I'm with you, with you. That record, Tory Lanez had the Love record. And that really, when I heard that record, that made me be like, yo, I really want to do a record like this, but I have to find a way to make the record my own because I'm not into following the trends of stuff, but I genuinely like this sound, and I wanted to create a record like that. And so I sat down. Here's the beauty of, like, I'm a writer, I'm a singer, I can produce for me. So like, on the production end, I'm not as knowledgeable as I feel like producers are. That works in my favor because I have to explore to find what I want to create. They know where to go. I don't know how to do that. So I get to come across stuff that they probably don't look at, and so I find sounds and can create records and have a different approach organically that doesn't sound like the other stuff. And that's what happened with that record. Like, I remember pulling up I kind of put up like a drum sample, and I started messing around with like the echo and stuff like that. And like, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just like, yo, okay, I got an idea. Start playing some chords and just start adding little stuff. And I found the vibe I was looking for. Like, I didn't even know. That's amazing when you find something you don't even know you're looking for. And so, that's good. That's so good. When you find something you don't even know you're looking for, it kind of catches you off guard. And that was this record for me.
The next one is Angel, which you sampled from Anita Baker. Love this record. Like, why did you listen? First of all, this entire album could have been samples, and they would have been amazing, because every time you cover a song, whether it's Usher, Chris Brown, you always put your own spin on it vocally, and when you're like producing, recreating it.
Angel was produced by Kenyon Dixon. That record was initially a demo. We were doing that record for Trey Songz, I believe. And so, yeah, that's the beauty of being a creative. When they take their time, you get to decide what you want to do with the record. And so, we decided to put it out. The record is about, so, the record is about, say if you got somebody on the side and it's saying kind of, if I could, I'd give you the world, but I can't because you know my situation. So though I can't call you my girl, I just call you my angel, because you kind of just, you know, making sure I'm good. So, you know, it's one of those records that a lot of guys can relate to at some point. And a lot of girls as well can relate to the record. And so it's just one of those records, man. It's like comedic to me. It's a fun record to me. I love it.
So we're coming up on the last track, which is my absolute. I mean, I'm not even saying they all my favorite, but this is like my absolute favorite. I fell in love with it from the moment I heard it. It talks about, you know, just kind of appreciating what you have in a relationship. At least that's what I interpreted it as. Talk about it for us.
Treasure, produced by Greg Mitchell Jr., GMJR, Touchdown Family. Shout out to them. That record, it's just a testament to there being somebody for everybody. The finest girl in the world, there's somebody that got tired of her. And there's somebody who's been waiting for her. The same thing, you know, on our end, as fellas, there's, you know, no matter how cool you may think somebody is, how fine you may feel like they look, there's somebody who, you know, who's over it. There's somebody who's over it, but there's also somebody that's gonna make them very, very happy, and somebody who they're gonna make very happy. And so Treasure talks about, there's a line going right to the hook that says, I know you hate the way he made you feel useless, but I'm glad he took out the trash because I found treasure. So you were trash to him, or you know, you may be trash to them, but to somebody else, you're exactly what they're looking for. And so that's kind of what that record is for me. It's just, you know, we go through a lot, even on our own. We dig through a lot of trash to find treasure sometimes. And there were some people that you just don't know. Here's the thing about that though. It's very, comparatively, you don't know what treasure is until you know what trash is. So you gotta sometimes kind of get that experience to have something to compare it to. So you know that you have good because you got worse. And so that's what that record is. Again, let's get the word out there. Again, if you don't have the album, make sure you get the album. Go to iTunes, get the album. I have hard copies I'm selling out here. If you take pictures, post anything, hashtag we should talk. If you're on Snap, again, we got the filters and everything like that. So sorry. If you have an Android, borrow somebody's iPhone, take the picture, send it to your Android, and so you will have that to post. Very good. Do y'all have any questions? Y'all heard the music? I mean, you know, you guys are here, so if y'all have any questions, I'm gonna answer yes. What's my favorite track? It changes like every couple hours. Right now, I think my favorite track is Body's Calling. Yeah. Right now, I think that's my favorite track. Yeah. Yeah. Can we talk tour? Yeah, I mean that's always the plan to be able to do your music, especially touring for a living with other people. I think that's like it's always the plan to get out there and do it yourself. And so I'll be doing a lot more shows with this project than I have previously with the other projects. And so, you know, I won't say that there won't be a tour. Who knows? I feel like it's possible, so I won't say it's not going to happen. Yes.
I just want to know who took the picture of, the album.
This is Charlie Chicago. I would like to also yeah. You see what she did there? She did right there. Shout out to Stephen Thompson as well, who did a lot of mixing on the record. Yeah. Any visuals? We're working on something. Mike right here. We're actually getting something together to be able to shoot, get some visuals out there. Literally, I feel like this record. It tells too much of a story to not at least try, you know. And so, yeah, I think that should happen. Sorry, Craig. Where's Craig? Craig, man. Craig right here been my right hand man with getting everything in motion, following this project, and making sure that everything is making sense. Jackie, where's Jackie? Jackie's somewhere outside, man. Jackie is another one of my team members, man. They just, having a team is so important. We get so used to being able to do stuff ourselves, and there's really, I tweeted about this the other day, there's really an art to learning how to allow people to help you. And so when you get so used to doing stuff yourself, it's just amazing to have other people who are there to help you, and you have to allow them to. And so Craig and Jackie, man, they've been amazing to me. And I'm looking forward to just what we're doing, man. We're in a pretty amazing space right now, and I think we planted some pretty powerful seeds. So yeah, it's happening. It's happening, y'all, for sure.
This has pretty much concluded this listening session, this Q&A. So we're gonna let you guys stick around for a little bit longer before we close it down.
DJ Grade, gonna spin.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming.